What's going on? It's your man, Mike Handz, man. You already know if we shine, he shine. And when we shine on the B shine. We get it in. What's going on? I have a cousin that introduced me to hip-hop. He took me in the bathroom and he pulled out one of those slim GQ from Juice. You know, my little brother had this radios with one tape deck in it. And he told me we're going to learn this and we're going to perform it for the family when we go downstairs. And he locked me in the bathroom and played Girls of the World by Will Smith and, well, at the time, Fresh Prince and DJ Jazzy Jeff. And I went and learned it and performed it, and I think it was an affair ever since. Like, I've been a part of that hip-hop love ever since. The first time I went outside, you know, because there was a few different versions, but the first time I went outside and I seen people living and breathing hip-hop, I seen sheepskin jackets, I seen windbreaker jackets that transformed into pouches. I literally remember going past the schoolyard and watching this kid come out getting ready to play basketball. He took his jacket off and folded it up and it turned into a bag and he put it around his waist. That was the illest thing in the world to me, you know what I mean? I remember back in my area when your Lee patches got stolen so that you could take the Lee patch from your jeans back to VIM, and if you get X amount of them, you're supposed to get a pair of Adidas. Like, all of these were part of the culture early. Then the movies that came out, you know, first time I seen Breaking or Beat It, you know, at that point, man, Video Music Box, you know, these are all key moments that all, I think, played key roles in that pebble in the picture that made that hip-hop fluid rise to a certain level. So Crush Groove was interesting because it made me feel like I started a relationship with each one of the artists that cameoed in it. But just like Five Heartbeats or any other making your bones a coming-to-age music story, when you're a young aspiring artist and you see that unravel in front of you and you see similarities to your life in the early parts of the film, and then you see, of course, it only happens in 2 hours, but in your mind, it's like, okay, I've seen some of these milestones, so I must be on the right track. So it was a lot of affirmation and validation going on, just looking at these different, you know, films with these people that are exactly where I'm hoping to be one day. So, you know, it's even crazier to look now that I actually know a lot of them personally at this point. And I was literally a child watching, you know, the film then. I work with these guys or move around with these guys. It's incredible, you know. I was coming off of a singing career first, modeling career. For those that may know me, I was doing that. And then when I finally, you know, committed to doing the artist MC thing, which was about the 8th grade, I want to say I took it seriously, but I didn't really have the resources to be so serious at that point. But, you know, I had family, you know, my mom, my grandmother, and people around me that believed that I could do something, though they didn't understand what I was trying to do. They just knew we could do something. So if he seems passionate about it, let's get behind it the best we can. And, of course, there was a proverbial get a real job and, you know, it's not tangible, you know, all those things because it's not familiar to them. But they never really abandoned me on it. And I want to say that moving from there, as I got into my late teens and started, you know, realizing I had people like the Bush Babies in my circle that were actually tangibly doing this. There was the cellar dwellers, you know, in my hood that were actually tangibly doing it. There was Busted Melons from the Lions Den and Flatbush that was actually tangibly doing it. And then there was a personal team, friends of mine, two unorthodox, that were part of the D&D project, and they were signed to Arista that were tangibly doing it. All these things made it a serious consideration for me. It made it a possibility. You know, I've had injuries, personal injuries over the years. We won't get into the details of them, but let's just say my walk is distorted from now on. But personal injuries, children, obviously, with family and responsibilities and having to shift your focus was important, you know, and they definitely started to take their toll as far as almost stealing your attention. But I never really looked at them like hurdles. They were more motivation points. You know, they were hurdles, but more motivation points. They were never the hurdles that I thought I couldn't get over. You know, I just didn't know how I was going to get over them, but I never thought I couldn't. So that was a blessing. And you lose friends along the way. You lose relationships. You start walking down roads with certain teams of individuals that you think you're going to get there with. And then you put in all this work and then it's gone. I've had producers I worked with and put in over a year worth of work and then they disappear with the masters. They just up and move and I have no music. So I started at square one at least 4 times in my life where I had nothing, not one song. All I had was tapes and some unmixed stuff on CD and that was it, but it trained me to become more self-contained and say, you know what, I can't depend on other people, because the truth of the matter is when I look back at it, other people aren't responsible. They're not really responsible for my dream or my outcome. So they have the right to change their mind. They have the right to decide they want to go in another direction. They have the right to decide they want to reinvent themselves. So who am I to say because I'm committed to my road that they're not allowed to change theirs? So traveling was always dope. Not that modeling and fashion hadn't, because I got to leave the country several times with both. But I get to travel. I get to meet people from a fan perspective, which is hilarious because I'm still getting accustomed to people knowing me before I know them. It's very, very surreal. People quoting songs or people quoting lines or commending you for some work you did on a record with maybe a bigger artist or something like that, not realizing like, wow, you even noticed that I was on the record, I get to, because of this version of the career, I get to create opportunities for other artists trying to do what I've done or do what I'm trying to do or do what I'm doing. And I think that's honestly becoming the most fulfilling part of it all. That's becoming the most fulfilling part of it all. Like, rapping is not hard. It's telling truths on beats. It's not hard, but to be able to give other people opportunity to do things that you didn't have anybody give you an opportunity to do before, it's kind of cool, I did a tape last year called Say You Ain't No. And the tape had like a lot of my favorites on it. So you had Tretch, you had Big Daddy Kane, you had Sean Price, you had Rock Ness Monster, you had General Steele. These are some of my favorites. I got to work with Chip Fool. Just about if you ever look at my original bio, every inspiration, this year I got to work with Rakim. All the my inspiration guys I've gotten a chance to work with. And that's epic for me. Just last night, so many of my inspiration dudes actually showed up to support the Reckoning show that we did. That was, what else can you ask for? That's like Superman and Batman and Spider-Man coming to Thanksgiving dinner just to cool out with you. That's the craziest thing in the world to me. My goal in life is to be written about in text. I want to be taught about, I'm not sure in what aspect of my skill set, if not all, or maybe just the fact that, I've managed to try and hone multiple skill sets. Maybe that's something worthy of inspiring somebody to say, you're not limited to lock into any one thing. You can find collaborative ways to manifest your energy or your talent. But I think impact, as far as being a bridge, is important for me. Being a platform. I really love watching the knife run away with the spoon and knowing that I put them on the table. That works for me. It's a lot of people that I've bridged and they've gone on to just have relationships and accomplish things that you've never seen coming. And I think that's dope when they sit and turn around and say, y'all remember when we met and I didn't even recall that I introduced you. Or I think one of my newest goals in life is not an American Music Award or a Grammy or a BET Award anymore. I think it's more so being able to sit at the awards and 10 people win awards and you come up in 10 speeches as a contributor to their award. So I think that's bigger for me now.